Hi, my name's Lindy and welcome to this channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. My email is info@lindycowling.co.uk. And the title of this video today is, in a way, a follow-up or the next step onwards from the previous video. So the title is The Vesica Piscis of Unified Love. The Vesica Piscis of Unified Love. So the previous video I brought out about 4 or 5 days ago was highlighting the differences between emotional forms of love and divine forms of love. This video is going to go a step further and in slightly more detail on the process of when those two forms of love overlap, hence the Vesica Piscis. They overlap, merge if you like, but there's an overlap, a merging to form a unified form of love, the divine form of love, the creation form of love, by the overlapping of the emotional form of love, frequency, vibration, and the divine form of love, frequency, vibration, meeting in the middle, overlapping, forming a Vesica Piscis, forming through that merge a template, a unified template of divine love with emotion expressed through it, through a divine templated format. If you haven't watched the previous video, it might be useful if you go back and watch the previous one if you're already thinking, what on earth is she talking about? Vesica Piscis is like when there's an overlap. There's an overlap. So like an overlap of two circles, and when they overlap like that, so if I overlap them like that, there's a little bit in the middle there. There's a little bit here where they cross, where they merge, where they overlap, if you like, that shape. It's kind of like an infinity shape. It's kind of like a spiral again, back to the spiral again. So when human beings are going through an evolutionary process where their preconceived ideas, their programmed ideas, their ideas from their belief systems and backgrounds and cultures are based on emotional concepts of love, which is a particular frequency or vibration, a particular mindset, a particular, I'm going to say a particular heart set, because really that emotional kind of love doesn't really come through the metaphysical portal of the heart. When those same humans hit a point where they're going through an awakening process, an evolutionary process, an ascension process, which means the upping of their frequency or vibration, the speeding up of their frequency or vibration, they can and do experience often those more refined feelings, experiences, bliss if you like, divine feelings of love, spiritual essence, spirit essence if you like, spiritual love if you like, which is higher in its frequency and faster in its frequency and vibration, and comes from and through the metaphysical portal of the heart. When there is a switchover going on, the average everyday human being will I want to say average because I'm going to speak generally now. Of course, there are exceptions and differences to this, but the average everyday human being will experience love in an emotional way most of the time. Then they will experience it spiritually and feel divine love and everything coming through the heart, kind of creation coming through the heart, their reality and perception changing. Then they will switch slightly back again, so they go on, they go off, they go on, they go off, until they hit a point where the energy in the heart has really, in a way, become accustomed to being used in that particular way, and then that metaphysical heart portal takes over. So the resting state frequency or base state remains that of the metaphysical heart. But in the early days, people yo-yo between the two. So the yo-yo between the belief systems of programming, the emotional form of love, the non-programmed, pure, divine, 0 point, unified, creation, source, God, etc., etc., etc. form of love. And when the yo-yo in between, there is a process where the heart really takes over. When it's kind of used enough and got stimulated, if you like, enough, that metaphysical heart portal takes over. There is a merging and overlapping of the emotional form of love and the divine or pure or unified form of love. So another way we could say this is emotional love equals programming, culture, belief systems, separation mentality, separation consciousness, heart-based, metaphysical, creationary, pure, divine, source, joy, love. That vibration of frequency equals unification, unity, inner union. And when there is the crossover, the yo-yo in between the two is stopped, and there is a merge, an overlapping, which forms a Vesica Piscis, that overlap, there is a blending between the separation consciousness, the emotional consciousness, the emotional concepts of love, the separation concepts of love, all the belief systems, the programmings and the fairy tales, meet the divine form, the God form, the source form, the creationary form, the angelic form, the bliss form, the 0 points form, the union form of a re-templated, refined, upgraded, heart-powered, metaphysical, multi-dimensional expression of consciousness, expression of love, and that unified wellspring of energy right in the overlap of the two forms of love, emotional and metaphysical or divine or pure, whatever. The shape in the middle where the two circles meet, the Vesica Piscis, that shape in the middle there is the blending, the merging of the two, which is an upgrade inwardly in one's consciousness to divine love, source love, creative love, unified love, 0 point love, ascended love, union love, expressed emotionally still, but through that filter. So one's emotions are not absent, but they are no longer triggered or programmed. They are coming through as genuine, unified, balanced love through the Vesica Pisces, through the, I could almost call it third energy, really, through the space there, the crossover points in the middle, and is expressed, lived, remembered, in every sense of the word, from there. What do I mean remembered from there? What do I mean by divine remembrance or divine remembrance from there? The remembrance on a consciousness level, on a personality level, on an energy level of the state of completion, of the state of unification, on the zero state, on the unified state, of the source state, of the creationary state, of the God state, union state, unified state, balanced state, that all of us as consciousness are capable of remembering, revisiting, reattaining, living as, and you could say in some ways where we originate from originally. So it's an amazing thing, and as there is that Vesica Pisces, that state of inner union or unified love, the merging of emotional love with divine love, if you'd like to say it that way. The new template, the Christed template, merges within, reforms within, refines within, with the match, if you like, the flame, the spiritual fire being lit by one's expression, by one's life energy, by one's sheer life force, all of that merging to refine and redefine and live at this higher rate of perception, higher rate of vibration, higher rate of frequency, higher rate of expression, all of these things. Back in full connection with all aspects of one's consciousness. The Vesica Pisces, where the two meet, the emotional form of love, the spiritual form of love, meet and form the third energy, the refined template, the rewriting of the template of what love is, the rewriting of the template of what relationships are, the rewriting of the template of who you are, the rewriting of the template to yourself in relation to yourself and to the others or to another, all taking place at that crossover or middle point there. So that's all I think I need to say about that. It's interesting. Sometimes I come on camera totally spontaneously, and then first thing when I woke up this morning, I had really strongly in my head Vesica Pisces, and I knew I was going to be talking about something which was a step further on to the video I did 3 or 4 days ago, and just knew I had to come on here today. It's a bit like an artist when they suddenly think, you know, today's the day I've got to do some painting, or somebody that's writing, you know, a writer, today's the day I've got to do my writing, or today's the day that I've got to film, you know, do some photography, or today's the day that I've got to create some music. It's the same kind of thing. I'm very creative, I just had this, oh, I've got to speak about Vesica Piscis, and you know, I had all this kind of knowing on what I was needed to be talking about today. As I've said many times before on this channel, you know, I could come on this channel every day of the week and talk about something to do with evolution and energy, but I do work in a way that is experiential, which means I only talk about that which is coming directly from me, from the heart, through experiencing it, the knowing of it, working with it, those concepts, those realities, personally and professionally. In that sense, it can sometimes be slightly frustrating for me because it's the long way round. It is the long way round because it would be much faster if I was just tapping into other people's material, swatting up on other people's material, reading other people's literature and books, and spieling it off, regurgitating it as if it were mine. I don't work that way. Something about this channel that I'm putting out here is a template, an evolving template of consciousness, and the way I've always been drawn to do it, and the way that it is on this channel, is doing it first-hand experience and experientially. That is the way this channel has evolved. That is the way that I've evolved. That is the way that I choose to share. And that is the way it has to be for me, apparently. You know, that's the way round it's going to be. So I hope you found that interesting. It's kind of like the next step on from the last video. I will be back on here soon, no doubt. You know, sometimes there's suddenly loads and loads of stuff that I want to talk about. Like I say, I have to balance that with my own life. Obviously, I'm putting all this material out free. And again, for those of you who make donations, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And so this takes up time, it takes up effort, you know, and it takes up, you know, my free time. So I have to balance that with, you know, my own free time and, you know, keeping myself in good balanced state rather than, you know, working all the time. So it's that balancing act, but I'm sure I'll be back on here again soon. You know, who knows, could be a few days, could be a week, could be a few weeks, but I'll be back. Anyway, on that note, I will love you and leave you, short but sweet. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for subscribing, and for those of you that do donate, it is much appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. Lots of love to you guys. Take care. See you soon. Bye.